emails from the Pizzaverse, the high-stakes hustle, the smoke clears. The social club still reeked of weed from the last caper. Ashtrays overflowed, the neon lights buzzed, and the jukebox whined out a Sinatra tune like it was dying. Bambi Palermo sat back in her chair, brown hair glowing under the low light, a sly grin on her face. "Cute job last time," she said, flicking ash into the tray. "But Brooklyn ain't built on cute. We need something bigger, something that puts us on top of the board." Admiral Impeach leaned forward, his cigar sticking out of his mouth like he was delivering a speech to Congress. "Bambina, you ain't kidding. What we pulled was historic, but history don't pay the bills. We need scale." That's when the door creaked open, and the Wolf of Philly came walking in like he owned the joint. The wolf arrives. Anthony Sessa didn't walk. He glided. Black silk suit, hair slicked like a movie villain, grin sharp enough to slice bread. He dropped his cigarette on the floor and crushed it under a shiny shoe. "Bambi," he drawled, his Philly accent thick. "Heard you and your Brooklyn crew been playing in the kiddie pool. Weed capers. Cute. But Philly eats. We don't nibble." Mikey the Hammer shifted in his seat, knuckles cracking. "Brooklyn eats too, wolf boy, and we eat bigger." Sessa smirked. "Then prove it." The gambler joins. The tension got cut when Frankie Pecoraro strutted in, jacket glittering under the light. He had a deck of cards in one hand, casino chips in the other, smiling like a man who always won. Now, fellas," Frankie said, smooth. "No need for growls and hammers. There's enough bread for everybody if you play the hand right. House always wins, but tonight, we are the house." Aaron Schulze perked up instantly, adjusting his glasses. Finally, somebody talking economics instead of testosterone. Enter Sungrown. The door groaned open again, and Sungrown shuffled in like he'd just rolled off a beach. Tie-dye shirt under a leather jacket, blunt already lit, shades covering eyes half shut. He flopped into a chair like gravity was his enemy. "Yo," he muttered, exhaling smoke rings. "What's the big crisis now?" Impeach squinted at him. "Crisis? Kid, this ain't Woodstock. This is a declaration of war." Sungrown smiled lazily. "War, peace, same thing. As long as the vibes are good, the money flows." Everyone else groaned. "Bambi's plan." Bambi leaned forward, eyes sharp. "Listen, Philly's got muscle, Frankie's got the Vegas connects, and Sungrown sitting on farmland we can turn into gold. We build a pipeline, East Coast to West, weed, cash, cards, the whole damn empire." The Wolf of Philly chuckled low. "You got guts, Brooklyn. I like guts." Mikey grinned, hammer resting against the table. "Good, 'cause we got plenty." Muggsy's mouth. Just as things were heating up, Muggsy Siegel popped his head through the door, wearing a Hawaiian shirt 2 sizes too big. "Hey," he shouted, "everybody knows what you're doing. Jersey's buzzing about a Brooklyn-Philly pipeline." The whole table turned on him like wolves. Bambi stood up slow. "Muggsy, how many people you tell?" He scratched his head. A couple. My barber, my cousin, the guy at the bagel shop. Oh, and Father Donnelly." Mikey slammed his fist down. "Muggsy, I swear one more word and I'll network your skull with this hammer." Lopez objects. David Lopez had been sitting in the corner, arms crossed, jaw tight. He finally spoke, voice low but sharp. "You all realize you're talking about building a cartel right in front of me, yeah? And I'm still FBI." Bambi turned to him, smirked and slid a hand across his chest. "And you're still covering my ass every time, sweetheart. You in or not?" Lopez sighed, rubbing his temples. "One of these days, you're gonna be the end of me." "Baby," Bambi said with a wink, "that's the idea." The test Anthony Sessa dropped a briefcase on the table. It clicked open with stacks of cash inside. "You want to roll with Philly? You prove it. Casino job, high stakes. We take the money, flip it, and nobody dies, unless I say so." Frankie grinned like a man who'd just drawn aces. "Now that's my kind of party." Aaron laid out maps, schematics, flow charts, looking like he was planning D-Day. Rottweiler checked weapons, Impeach drafted speeches, and Sungrown just sat rolling joints. "This ain't just crime," Impeach declared. "This is democracy in action." "Bro," Sungrown muttered, "pass the lighter and shut up." The club hummed with tension. Mikey polished his hammer until it gleamed. Lopez cleaned his sidearm. Frankie shuffled cards like he was reading the future. Bambi sat back, exhaled smoke, and whispered, "Tomorrow, Brooklyn and Philly make history, and God help the house." They hit Pecoraro's casino under a wash of neon. Tourists in cheap suits, cocktail waitresses smiling, dice rolling. "Act natural," Sessa ordered, strutting through the lobby like royalty. Muggsy showed up in a fake mustache and Hawaiian shirt. Natural he was not. Sungrown sat at the slot machines, puffing, drawn, suspicious eyes. Impeach cornered the pit boss, ranting about how legal weed would double their revenue. Meanwhile, Lopez slipped into the security room, silencing guards one by one. Downstairs, Mikey swung his hammer and smashed the vault door like it was plaster. Sparks flew, steel bent, alarms wailed. Inside, piles of cash glimmered. Bambi's eyes widened. Brooklyn eats tonight. But Sessa didn't move toward the cash. He just folded his arms, smirking. "This belongs to Philly now." The room went dead quiet. Mikey raised his hammer. Lopez reached for his gun. Frankie slid in between them, grinning ear to ear. Boys, easy. We split. 40 for Philly, 40 for Brooklyn, and 20 for me. 'Cause I'm Frankie Pecoraro, and I'm gorgeous." Bambi blew smoke in his face. "Or we split your head, Frankie." Suddenly, sirens wailed. Security flooded the floor. Tourists screamed, tables flipped, dice rolled across the carpet. "Here we go," Mikey roared, hammer swinging, clearing a path through guards like a wrecking ball. Anthony Sessa pulled his piece, laying down cover fire. "Philly don't run. We bite." Lopez cursed, grabbing Bambi by the arm. "I can't believe I'm helping you with this." She winked. "You always do, sweetheart." They piled into the getaway van. Frankie jumped behind the wheel, laughing like a lunatic, spinning the tires. "Vegas rules, baby," he shouted, slamming the pedal. Sungrown puffed calmly in the back seat. "See? Told you. Bad vibes." Sirens howled behind them, but Frankie weaved through traffic like a magician, cops crashing into each other, tourists scattering. Mikey tossed duffel bags of cash out the window to slow the chase. By the time they hit the Brooklyn Bridge, they'd lost the tail. Back at the club, the crew sat round the table, smoking, laughing, cash piled high. Bambi raised her glass. "Morale. Never trust the house, never trust Muggsy, and never underestimate Brooklyn." Sessa smirked. "Philly still eats first." The club smelled like sweat, whiskey, and bad decisions. Neon lights flickered against walls stained with cigarette smoke, and on that busted stage stood K-Fam, the wannabe rock star. He wasn't the best singer. Hell, half the time he was off key, but he had something else. Hunger. The kind you can smell on a kid, the kind the streets eat alive. He wanted to be famous, to be bigger than the block, bigger than Brooklyn, bigger than all the ghosts whispering through the alleys. Problem was, nobody gets that kind of dream without paying a price. And KFM, he already sold his soul. The buyer? Anthony Rizzo, a promoter, a slick-talking suit with mob ties thicker than blood. Rizzo saw KFM strumming in some basement dive, told him he had potential, and wrapped his claws around the kid before he even knew what hit him. Now every chord KFM played, every dollar stuffed into his guitar case, belonged to Rizzo. The spotlight wasn't his. It was rented, controlled, bought, and paid for. Rizzo ran it like business. You want to be mobbed up, kid? Fine. But remember, this ain't Hollywood. This is Brooklyn. Every encore's an IOU, and I collect. K-Fam laughed at first, thought it was all swagger and image. But deep down, he felt it. Every drink, every applause, every girl who hung on his arm. It all came with chains you couldn't see under the stage lights. And when the lights went out, KFM sat in the back room with his guitar case open, cash shoved inside, and Rizzo's voice in his ear, reminding him who really owned him. The crowd screamed his name, but KFM knew the truth. He wasn't free. He wasn't even his own man. He was property. And in Brooklyn, property gets used. Brooklyn Bloodlines, Season 2, coming soon. Frankie tossed cards on the table, and Vegas always wins. Everyone laughed, the neon glowing as dawn broke over Brooklyn. The Pizzaverse had just raised the stakes. Moral of the story: high stakes mean high risks. Play the game, but never play yourself. If you liked this wild ride with Brooklyn, Philly, and Vegas colliding, hit subscribe to Bambi Palermo's Pizzaverse. Wise guy stories, scams, and laughs every damn week. The Pizzaverse don't miss.